Welcome to this week's Sandpile. This week we're talking about video recording tools. First, we'll go through a little bit of news. On the BC Academy side, we are going to have a video about custom keyword search by Chad Smith. That'll be released later this week. On the BC Gurus side, there is a tips and tricks tutorial Scott Reynolds prepared about smart country drop-downs. So you learn how to manage your country drop-downs and make it a better experience for users. I watched it. There's a bit of liquid involved in that. It looks pretty good. On the BC App Store, the Insights Advanced CRM tool is on sale now for only $59, normally $99. You can lock in that lower price before it goes up. And a few more notes on the RS-231 system update. There was an expansion on what the miscellaneous was. They said they will send out notification emails should a website get disabled or deleted. If you're like most of us, perhaps you've already seen some of those emails going out. It's not a big surprise there. And you also get, they've also set up a workflow to prevent a website from getting deleted or disabled by accident. Expired trial sites will be able to be upgraded and have their expiry period extended right from the site login screen. They updated the tell a friend feature, which we knew about, fixed the bug that affected the web app item address search for GB zip codes. Several other system features. You know what? I think I covered that. Sorry, here's the additionals. Soft deletion of sites, marking them as deleted before actually removing them physically. They upgraded the reporting DB to 2017. They added a birth date field to the OBB, and they removed the reCAPTCHA version 1. So that's what was going on with 231. Just checking my other notes here. Okay, so this week we want to talk about video recording tools. And I'm just going to launch a quick poll here. If those on the call, all 5 of you, can just quickly do your best to answer the questions there. I'd hoped we would have a few more, but can you guys confirm if you can see the poll? I don't see anybody's answers coming in. There we go. Okay, so it's not a very big sampling, so the answers may not mean much. But how do you use videos? The majority use it as a client training tool. Next most popular is as a marketing tool. One of us uses it as a social media tool. What video platforms do you use? Most people are using YouTube and Vimeo. One other is using Wistia, and someone is using something else. So the most popular is YouTube. No big surprise there. Vimeo is a bit of a surprise for me. I didn't think it was as popular as that. So that's cool. And then the software used for editing. And 3 out of 5 using Premiere Pro, 2 out of 5 using Camtasia, and 3 out of 5 using something else. If you don't mind, the 3 that said other, could you just pop that into the chat for me? Because I'm not as familiar perhaps with those as I should be. I use Premiere Pro and Camtasia myself, but I'd like to know what other people are using. ScreenFlow, yeah, okay. I should have guessed that one actually. Thanks, Bill. And everyone else fell over on their nose. Oh, Adobe Clip. Okay, I didn't know that, Jack. Some basic editing. So I'm gonna, once again, I've got some questions here. Now, I wonder if it's better for me to share my screen. Just give me a sec here. Just took a minute there to hide some stuff on my screen. So the first question is, do you use videos as a background on client sites? Let me get my chat back, come on. There we go. So the folks on the call, how many are using videos as a background on a hero or on a banner of some sort? Anybody doing that? Laura says she didn't have an option for don't edit. She send it over to my help if editing is needed. So she third parties that out if she needs help with editing. Thanks for that clarification, Laura. You can imagine me sitting trying to dream up these questions randomly on like Friday morning. So I'm interested in how many people are using videos as a background. Mary says they use animations that they've done in Edge Animate. Cool, I think you've mentioned that before. Yeah, Jack, that was an interesting video that Brian Mulholland prepared. Bill's not doing it. Daniel's not doing it. I'm going to stop sharing this and maybe share my whole screen so you can see what I mean. Of course, I lost my chat window again. So by background videos, I mean like this. So here's a site, you can see that video in the background, just slowly zooming in on the city. Now it's got some challenges, and that's kind of why I'm asking. It's not that it's necessarily bad, but you have to consider a few things, like what happens on a mobile environment. Most of the time, we just get to, can't remember if this one does it or not. Yeah, there's some techniques there, not the least of which is you on a tablet or a phone, you stop displaying the video and you just display an image. I've got another site that does that. I think this Yoga Alchemy is one of them. So I mean, it's a pretty effect. It's a real cool effect, no question. But it's got its challenges. So in this case, when you get to a certain point, then we just replace it out with an image. I think probably one of my favorites is this idea. So I'm kind of tired of sliders myself, and I kind of like this as a hero, where you have some interesting text here and a call to action, and even frankly, if this was a slide of some sort, but I like that the image is here. You can control whether that plays automatically or not. And it's actually, in this case, this is just a short loop, highly compressed, really small. I think it's less than 300 megabytes. Like, it's less than a big hero image, frankly. And then when you press the play button, then it opens up in a light box the full video. So I think I like that technique the best. I don't know what you guys think. And again, when on a phone here, this automatic video does not play. And if they click the button, then they get the video in the player that's on the phone. So I think it's probably about the best approach for videos like this. Although I must admit, I do think that's pretty attractive, this one. So the next question is, how do you promote or share your video content? Do you push it out or let people find it organically? So are you publishing on YouTube or these other platforms and then creating sharing posts, pushing that content out there, or are you just publishing it and hoping people to subscribe to that channel? Is anybody doing any of that? Yeah, Jack, Boston. Well, maybe that's why we only got X many people here, because the subject's maybe not that interesting. My next question is, do you record screens or live content? So are you doing screen recording? I've done a lot of that myself for the tutorials I've done for BC Gurus and for BC Academy. Or do you actually record live content like I'm displaying here, or even on the Boston site here? Or is it a mix of the two? Bill's mostly screens. Which makes sense if you're doing mostly tutorials, that it would be a lot of screen sharing, I'm sure. And that kind of, well, Mary says they share on social media, as Facebook is great for sharing videos, yeah. Daniel uses Vimeo to embed videos on the client websites, and is not promoting them that way, just mostly embedding videos on client websites. So if you're recording live videos or videos on site even, I'm interested to know what you have for recording equipment. What are you using for recording, for lighting, for sound? So for recording, I'm just doing screen capture, so that's in and of itself is fine. But I have done some live recording and basically used like a Canon, a digital camera that does video, does 1080p, that's fine. The microphone I found did not work well, the built-in microphone, so you definitely had to get a separate microphone, and most often the lighting was horrible. So we wound up getting some LED lights to make things bright enough to make the video look good. Hey, Bill. Bill's on his way out. I don't think he said that to the group. So yeah, it can be quite a deal to get even just the most basic video. I think I can bring this one up. I'm just trying to see. I can't remember which one he recorded. No. Sorry, there's only some here that are, well, maybe I should show you that. So this was done with poor lighting, with a poor background. Just not great. I mean, a black phone on a black background is really quite bad. So I did convince them later to make an investment, and I just don't remember exactly which one it was. Is it time and date? No. I apologize for not having this one ready for you. No. Oh, well, we'll give up on that. So my point there is that, I mean, it does take a little bit of investment in sound and in lighting. And between that and the camera, it's a couple thousand, $3,000 to get set up in a way that that gives you decent results. So Daniel says he's using a Canon's 5D Mark II and a Zoom 4N recorder and a Cavalier mic. I'm assuming you mean a lavalier mic. I could be wrong, but thanks, Daniel. Mary says that her clients do a lot of videos and uses Vimeo and has a number of YouTube channels. And they found some code to make the YouTube videos responsive when you insert them on the page. Yeah, it's definitely, you need that. Thanks, Daniel, for clarifying lavalier. And lavalier is simply a lapel mic or one that goes on your clothing, if you will. But the point is that it can be difficult to make a decent video. And it does take a little bit of expertise, does take a little bit of trial and error. And my advice would be, I mean, have a go at it. And if it's something that you enjoy and something you think is worthwhile for you, your agency or for you, even for your client, then there's lots of help available out there for sure. When you're recording, what format are you using? 1080p, 4K, something else? I'm thinking 4K is going to be the most, or sorry, 1080p is going to be the most popular, but I wondered if anybody's recording in 4K at this point. I want to say it's Melind is using an Audio-Technica microphone. That's indeed what I have here. And I'm quite happy with that. And I have that into a Scarlett 2i2 interface for mixing it to go into the computer. Diagnosed 1080p. Ursula is in now. She got her times wrong before, but she's here now. More 1080p. So yeah, it seems like 1080p is the most popular. I'm not surprised. 4K is relatively new, and there's certainly not much in the way of websites that's going to present that. But my customers that are using videos are finding they're not just using them on their website; they're using them on TV screens in their lobbies or in their conference rooms and those kind of things. Jack asked if this video, the one that's playing right now, this Columbus and Over, was filmed with a drone, and I don't actually know. We did not provide that video. They provided us with the video content, so I don't know how that one was produced. Sorry. So next question is, do you massage your audio? So I have Adobe's, it eludes me now, Audition that I use, and I'm quite happy with it. I picked some of that up in college. That's fine. I went back to college in 2012 for some updating and stuff. And so I use Premiere Pro and I push the sound out into Audition. I have some noise sampling and then reduction strategies that I go through. It doesn't take long. Probably all told I'm about 2 minutes doing a noise reduction on a video. But I wonder what you guys are doing. So are you doing noise reduction? And if you are, do you have a process? Do you do things like level control? Do you try and make sure you're staying about 6 dB, minus 6 dB? Do you take out the ums and ahs that almost everybody does? Do you look at breathing? I find when I'm recording a video, I get that, you take that intake of breath just before you start to speak, and it frustrates me, so I often take it out. But I wonder what you guys are doing. In the meantime, if you want to grab the mic, Hirsch, and you want to talk about Loom, I'm happy to give you a few minutes to talk about your experience with that. I don't know if I can unmute you. Maybe I can unmute you. Unmute.
Hello, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Oh, beautiful. Fabulous. I'm still not that familiar with a Zoom to know my way around like I did with Connect. Has Loom been mentioned?
It has not been mentioned at all. So go ahead.
My God.
No, no, it's just
It's
me.
it's incredible. It's an incredible tool, and it's literally what it is a Chrome extension,
Okay.
and you put it into Chrome, and it instantly. Yep, there you go. Use Loom. That's it. I use that now for pretty much everything. And then my clients are using it to explain things about what's happening on their website or what they want done. It's an instant recording, like the speed of how it records, because, you know, normally you do a recording, then you have to find the link or get it embedded or whatever. In fact, I don't know if I can work out how to share my screen on here, but if I can show you that, you'd just be amazed. But I use it both for training. It's faster than creating an email, and it's more hang on.
Can you, if you want to send
I'm
me,
just trying to work out, what would you like me to send you?
you just want to show a URL, you can paste that in and I can bring it up, or I can stop sharing and you can share.
I think if I share, you'll get a much better idea because you'll be able to see it. I just don't know how to do that.
Okay,
Let's see.
so it should be in the bottom there. It should say share
Share
screen.
screen.
Yeah.
All right, let me find the right screen to share. Just 1 second, please. Radio. So I'll just go to, need to close some windows down so it's not OTT. And I'll go to the, just say 1 second. All right, so Zoom, share screen, share screen. Can you see it?
Yes, I can.
All right, so check this out. So this is the extension. I have a choice of recording my face, which I really do not want to do at the moment, and whether I'm just doing the screen only. So that's what I'm doing. So literally it's as simple as this. I start the recording. It's got a countdown. And then, okay, so I can explain something to my clients. I'll say, go to the Online IQ blog, blah, 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 blah. You know, as you can imagine with the training and everything. Then when I'm ready to finish, I go finish recording. I get an instant link. And
there it is.
yeah, okay. So, okay, stop that. You can see, then you can have folders and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got that one just there, right? And you can easily share these or put them in relevant folders or in training folders for various things.
Mm-hmm.
And what other options do I get? You can embed them. So for example, that one that I've just done, I'll just stop it. I can download it. So I can actually upload it into YouTube if I want to. They've just added a crop editing thing. They've got shared folders. So you can create a folder that's just got all the client things.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've been doing for clients, let me just show you one. Using Scott's site information. Hang on, I'll show you. Now,
Oh, yeah, that's perfect for that.
it is. It's unbelievable. So hang on.
While that's loading, is there a monthly charge for this or a one-time charge?
It's free.
Come
It
on.
is free.
Wow.
So hang on, check. Okay, so instructions for site information, right? So all you then put is you put the embed code in there.
Yeah, just paste
That's
it in.
actually words. But look, there you go. Formatting text for tutors.
Yeah.
And you just put in the code.
Wow.
I'll just stop the share.
Okay.
How amazing is that?
Very, very, very.
I thought I just had to show it to
Yeah.
explain it, but it's free at the moment. And what you need to do is share it. So when you first get it, you can record, but it only keeps the recording for 24 hours. So once you share it with someone else, then you can keep it forever. And the second way that they're kind of spreading it in a viral way is that when you then share it with the second person and they join Loom, then you can have an unlimited length of video. So that's the two restrictions. The first share gives you unlimited storage. The second share gives you unlimited length. So it's very easy for it to just be free because they've,
Yeah. It's much like Dropbox used to be. You got extra storage for every referral kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah. So I don't know that there's nothing to be paid for at this point. I think they're just rolling out the features, and then they'll probably make the team thing, something that gets paid for at some stage. But at the moment, it's free.
Yeah, that's real cool.
Yeah. I'll shut up now.
It's all good. I mean, it's simple. Click, record, share, and even if all you're doing is giving somebody a link to it to show them, here's my problem that I'm having, or here's how you solve your problem, or here's what I meant by that, or whatever. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's way cool.
All right. Thanks for that. And that is one I didn't know about. I've heard Loom, but I never really looked at it. So I'm going to have a closer look at it now.
It's just really easy way to explain things and to do training. And I don't know if you've covered this as well in what you've been talking about, but what I'm finding is that certainly with social media and marketing, the perfect video isn't that important anymore. It's
Agreed.
just getting it out there.
Yeah, getting the information out, and people are very much more accepting of the casual quality, I'll call it.
That's right. And I can just see Daniel's question there. I've got Camtasia as well, but every one of those programs, there's a cumbersome element to it. Whereas this, it's just instant. I can just record in 2 seconds and the recording's ready in 3 seconds. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Very cool. And you've already got your freedom. I was going to say, so when you refer,
yeah,
but you've already got your unlimited. So we don't need to register back to you.
No, register to each other.
Yeah.
I think, why don't you join Dave and then send it to a few people on this chat, and then they'll do the same.
How long does it take to sign up?
Seconds.
Add the extension.
Yeah, you just log in with your Google account or whatever you want, and then.
This would be interesting. If nothing else, folks can see how simple it is. So.
Exactly. Yep, I can see it there in the far right-hand side.
Heck yeah.
There you are. You're ready to roll.
So now how do I share this in a way that...
No, all you do, just do that. Click on your Loom. Yeah, that will, one-click access. That's it. That will access your microphone recording. Do the skip for now.
Okay.
And there you go. So now go to, well, whatever you want, start recording.
Okay.
And it gives you the option of which screen to choose.
Check. That's all good. Okay.
Tick. Yep.
And then
You're probably using a few resources. So see that link at the top, that's your recording. Just go not now.
So I just grab this up here and paste that in
Yeah.
the...
Well, that's already there. So if you just click on that play button.
Okay. Yeah.
Could you hear your
Yeah.
check? Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
So that's it. So you can see all the different ways you can share it there, including if you click on that share, you'll see there's an embed code.
Yeah.
Not there or just to the left underneath the video.
Sure.
So that gives you embed code, or you can directly, or as an email. So sometimes you can just do it through your email. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now how do I share this in a way that I get credit for it? So I get unlimited storage and then unlimited
Okay.
videos?
So that's sharing. Let's go to the David top right hand side. Hang on a sec. I have to look on mine because they definitely want you to share it. Loom, one sec, get Loom.
Oh, Get Started was at 57%. I bet you that's... So I need to share a video.
It's not so much sharing the video, it's sharing a link to join Loom. So that's what I'm trying to find. 1 second. Sorry. Can I find that in a second so I'm not holding things up? Then I'll just put a link to it.
Sure.
Use Loom mode.
Seems to me if I share this, this is just interesting to me. It's
that you'll be prompted to share it anyway. Like they're going to send you a video, an email saying, share this kind of thing.
okay.
So yeah,
I'll leave it for now.
Yeah.
There was a bright squirrel there, so I was distracted.
Oh, okay. Shiny bright object.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get out of that. There we go. Cool. Well, I'll leave that on the screen for those folks that might want to know. Thanks for sharing that, Urs.
That's okay.
That made it quite interesting for me, and perhaps other folks will get something out of that too.
I'm
just checking the notes here. I can send it to Daniel. Thank you.
Yeah, send it to Daniel once. Yeah, and then that will give you. Yeah.
I can just send the link?
No, don't share. Just wait until this session finishes, I think.
Sure.
So that you actually get credited for it properly. I can't find the share link at the moment.
It's all cool.
It'll come to you, Daniel.
So just back to my notes here. So again, I was interested if you guys are taking ums and ahs out and breaths. If you're editing your own videos, are you taking pains to remove that kind of stuff, or do you just leave it in? Like Urs said, perfect video is not so important anymore as it is just to get decent content out there. All I see is kudos for Ursula and Loom, so no one's answered that one. It's all cool. What about intros and outros? Do you use them? If you do, are they the same all the time? Or is it specific for the video being recorded? So when I look on BC Academy, we always have the same intro. We always have the same outro. There's some level of formality around that. Or are you really just doing like Urs did? You just record it and send it. And on the same note, are you using text overlays and that kind of thing? Seems to me like this might be beyond what most folks are doing because no one's really answering. So I'm assuming that no one's really doing videos to this level. They're relatively simple and straightforward. I'm just gonna mute yours because you're
oh, sorry.
You're tapping. Oh, well, you're tapping into my chat. Yeah. So that kind of stuff is really more for although I hesitate to call it professional quality videos, it's more, maybe it's more reputation based, because I mean, you can do a screen recording with Loom and it can feel every bit as professional, but perhaps there's just a level of formality to, maybe it's formal, more formal rather than professional would be my choice of words. Daniel's using simple intros and outros, and definitely I'm all about simple, like 5 seconds should be lots. Yeah, production quality is probably a better, no, yeah, I'd buy that too. But there's a certain level of formality around that. I know we just did some recording for a solar company out in San Francisco, and they were simply showing people an introduction to their latest software release. And I mean, I got 10 segments that I had to paste together into one video, 7-minute video, and asked them, well, what do you want to do for an intro and outro? And they had nothing prepared, so ended up with a white screen and their logo, but at least there was something there. So here's a question I had some interest in. So if you're doing an educational video, are you including marketing in that? Do you use that as an opportunity to market? So I think I showed you some of that telecom stuff, and they make sure to say at the end of the video some marketing message, some kind of a call to action at the end of the video. So I wondered if you guys, if you're doing videos, are you doing that? Or are you trying to avoid that and keep it strictly educational? No opinions. So the next question is, how do you handle responsiveness? Now, we use Foundation or a variation, our own custom Foundation, and certainly they have a built-in way of handling that, responsive embed. So on a Foundation framework, if you simply paste your video within your iframe within a div with a class of responsive embed, then at different screen sizes, your video will resize. I know Bootstrap has something similar. Is that what most folks are doing, or has someone found a different way? So Milan indicates call for action is a good idea. Never used it earlier, but thinking about it in the future. I think it's an opportunity, especially if you do it at the end. I think people get upset if you do it at the beginning because it becomes fairly transparent what you're trying to do. But I don't think it's unexpected to have a marketing message at the end of an educational video. Again, as long as you don't keep it like an infomercial and it's a half hour long. But to take 5 seconds at the end and say, hey, if you're interested in this kind of thing, go here, or put it, you put your website on there, or for more, visit our website, or whatever, right? I think that's a reasonable solution myself. And I accept that as a consumer of a video, I accept that. So, and Daniel's only done a couple of videos, but he's kept them educational. And he does use the Foundation method for responsive resizing. I'm pretty sure, I mean, I guess what I'm really asking is there anybody out there who's not using a framework these days? And if so, how are they handling responsive embeds or responsiveness for videos? I certainly know there are some code. I mean, this responsive embed, if you look at the CSS on that, that's really all you need to add to your own div. But I just wondered what people are doing. So how to handle responsiveness. I also wondered, does anybody handle, if you're doing a longer one, do you insert chapters or reference points? So I've seen videos, I do watch a fair bit of YouTube. Should be no surprise to anybody that it's guitar related. But some of them will have, in the timeline, they'll have those little yellow marks. And those are chapters or reference points. And I wonder if anybody has done that and found it to be, how do you find it to insert those in there? Because I haven't actually done it. And then the other one, I know a guy, one guy does a live webinar, much like we're doing here, every Friday afternoon. And he goes through his videos afterwards. And I can't imagine. Let me just, at the risk of showing you my YouTube consumption habits. is this fellow. And he goes through and kind of puts Cole's notes. This is what he does. I'm going like, man, I don't have the patience for that. But have you guys done that? So if I link on any of these times, it takes me right to where that question was asked. So imagine doing this Sandpile video, and I wanted to make a mark there. If you want to know about Loom, join Ursh at 14:10 in the video and stuff. Has anybody done that? Or is it just this guy, he's a little bit obsessive compulsive and one of the few guys that has more guitars than me. If I let this play. This kind of advertising really upsets me. And that's YouTube throwing that on there. So look at all those guitars. And that's only one room. And they change every week. Make you a little crazy. Yeah, I agree. I think it's super useful, but lots of work. I can't imagine doing that for the Sandpile videos. Like if I was to take each one of these questions and find that reference point in the video and refer to it in the, like that's a lot of work. And now that said, this fellow, he's got the whole sponsorship things going. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of Patreon or Patreon. I think it's actually like patron is what it's supposed to reference, but that's a sponsorship program where he's getting paid to produce those videos. So maybe that's why he can up the quality and such. But Ursh says she was sending comments privately to Mary instead of to everybody. So hopefully you've added them back in now. Anyway, it's interesting that what some folks are doing in a established channel. And that whole patron thing, I'm not sure, does anybody know what that is? So depending on the content you're producing, I'm coming across this more and more in the creative industry for singer-songwriters, for people producing guitar-related or educational type videos. But they get this this patron page, and then people that are viewing their content can come here and send them money basically easily. So depending on what you're producing, if you have a YouTube channel and it's fairly substantial audience, this might be a way to offset some of the costs of producing that content. Chapters, reference points. And what about live streaming? Is anybody live streaming? Now, we did try that with the Sandpile for a little bit. And then with that, I was the webinar platform in Zoom. And with that, I could live stream, but I couldn't share everybody's faces. So we switched to the other one, and it doesn't necessarily live stream. Anyway, I wonder if anybody is live streaming. Yeah, Jack says he hears podcasters mention Patreon a lot. And again, I think it's a kind of a crowdfunding deal, if you will. So this open broadcasting, I know, again, this was something Greg told me about this, OBS Studio, Open Broadcaster Software. So this is available for Windows, Mac, or Linux, and you can live stream. So I think this is a little more formal, perhaps, than Loom, but this is a way for you to live stream your videos, and it's open source. So if anybody's doing it, I wondered if what their experience has been like with it. So Mary's indicated she uses fluid grid layouts. I believe you build that out of Dreamweaver, if I'm not mistaken. And she's found some code to make YouTube videos responsive, and still needs some code for Vimeo. Yeah. Okay, so this open OBS Studio is, if you're into live streaming, this may be an option for you. I don't honestly know why we're not using it for Sandpile, other than I don't know anything about it. So, and we have a Zoom account. So, but I thought I would share that, much like we're sharing the whole Loom thing. I don't know how to get rid of that. How do I get back to where I was? My videos. There we go. So I also wondered, well, Facebook Live is the other option there. That's what we were doing before. Close the tab. Yeah. Facebook Live is interesting, and I see that more as a marketing tool myself. Maybe I'm wrong. Is anybody out there using a Facebook Live and have an opinion on that? And again, for the higher end in us, is anybody using green screens? I haven't done any green screen stuff since college back in 2012, but green screen is an interesting thing. And again, I don't know that it's necessary anymore. Looking at Ursh's video and even mine here, where I recorded myself in the bottom corner here. You can see myself in the bottom there. Does it really matter if you can see what's behind me? I mean, I could rearrange the room so I had just a blank wall behind me, and that should be enough. I don't know that you necessarily need to green screen anymore. Yeah, Ursha, I know that Scott, him and Christina have HR Jetpack, and they're recording. The videos they're recording are longer and for more of a high-end educational type of thing. And they're recording her standing in front of a green screen so they can show the bigger screen behind. Definitely using green screens, and they are definitely a higher quality production. But he's the only one I know who's using green screens, and they actually they rent studio time for that. They have a local studio where they go and record those. Although I think he's trying to bring that in-house just because of the cost. But with him and I haven't been able to connect for the last 2-3 weeks, so I don't know where things are at with him. Oh, here, look at this. Ursh, it says, do you use the Chrome extension Loom? It was one of my questions I dreamed up last Friday. I must have done some research and discovered that and said, well, is anybody using it? So that would have been your perfect buy-in. So here's, in my opinion, a no-no, but do you have audio on your video that auto plays? So when you go to a site like this and you have this little bit of video running, do you let the audio play or do you keep it silent? What's the consensus? Obviously, I feel you should keep it silent, but always turn it off. Yeah. Yeah, it should be a choice. There's nothing worse than like something reloads and I'll get, I have all these tabs open and something will start playing in the background, especially on those YouTube videos that I watch. And you can't find the friggin' tab that's playing in the background. It's crazy. All right. Does anybody put text within the video? And I don't mean as an overlay, I mean within the video. So there's, I'm not like that Bronco that just showed up there. I don't know if these guys are doing it or not. So this is an overlay, I believe. Let me just check that. Yeah, so you can see that's in an overlay. So it's screen readable or searchable, indexable, if you will. But some people will take that same text and put it right within the video because it's easier rather than trying to get the overlay over top of the video. And definitely some problems with that. You'll have issues with scaling. So imagine if that text scaled at the same size as the video, you'd never fit everything on there. Certainly issues with SEO because that text that's within the video can't be seen by an indexer. And it's much better to use overlays much like this. So hopefully that's pretty clear. One thing I was interested in for on-screen recording, and even if you're doing it with Loom there, do you use highlights for the cursor or for cursor clicks? So some people, they'll make it so if they click something, there's a little ring comes up around, or the screen darkens and just where your cursor is will light up. Does anybody use that, or do you find it distracting? So you've done it with Camtasia, yeah. I don't know if Loom does it or not. I did it in the early days, and then Scott Reynolds actually called me to task on it, and he said, "Don't do that." So I stopped. But I'm kind of with you, Daniel. I think it helps too. I guess I think the issue was I click a lot. um, Even if I'm not actually clicking on something, I'm moving the mouse and I'm clicking, and he found that fairly distracting. So I think if you have a decent technique, I think it's a solid approach. All right, here's the big question. Dark background, light text, or light background with dark text? What's your opinion? Light with dark, dark with light. So this comes down to readability. I was having this argument with Greg at Chicago Digital on whether it's easier to have if you're doing text. In his case, he was showing coding. So if you bring up Dreamweaver, you know, is it like that, light text on a dark background, or is it like this, dark text on a the Dreamweaver's light text on a dark background. This is dark text on a light background. Oh, light with dark text. I know that feels better stylistically, but I think the light text on a dark background is easier to read, easier on your eyes, I think is my opinion. So maybe it comes down to more what you're actually presenting. Yeah, Daniel's mostly codes dark background, light text. And maybe that's a coder's preference as opposed to a designer's preference, if that's fair. Yeah, Laura's light with a dark background too. And to be fair, I think it really depends on what you're presenting. So I know Mary's using. Is it Mary using Edge Animate? But do you use any animation type of videos where the content is 3D or 2D generated, like After Effects, like Dimension, like Animate, like Spark, or is there anything else? Anybody using those tools? There's some interesting. I get emails from these guys from places all the time, and one of them come in was this whole video thing where they have a persona in a 2D effort, and they've even got the speech to text worked out so their mouth moves with the words that you're typing in and such. It's getting pretty cool what you can do. Yeah, Daniel's clarifying that light text on a dark background is easier on the eye, and he's in code view 90% of the time for sure. I wish I could remember the name of that video app, but there's so many now where you can do a screen record like that. You can actually throw a body in front of that, like an animated body where the lips move to the text that you're typing in. It's pretty amazing what you can do these days with video. I think I have, this is the HTML for this, if anybody was interested in it. It's kind of, it's done with Magnifique, so you kind of have to have that set up for this to work. But if anybody wants it, I'm happy to paste it into the chat. But it's kind of out of context. I originally thought I'd just share it out, but it's kind of out of context if you don't really know the rest of the site construction around it. So. I wonder if that's I think that's the subject of Brian's video. Well, I thought it was there. Yeah, I think this is it here. Come on. No, looks like that's that one. All right, so that video shows you how to do this. And the code I have is for this here, so it's probably not much value for you. Anyway, that is it for today. That's everything I know about videos, largely anyway. And if nothing else, we learned more about Loom, which I am fascinated by. I think that's great, Roshai. Thank you very much for bringing that to the table. Anybody have any questions in the last minute or two? And we've been getting 18 to 24 folks coming out. So just the fact that there's only 5 or 6 of us today tells me how much interest there is in video stuff. So that's that in itself is entertaining. Although we do get a lot of people watch the recording, which is fine. Cool. Well, that's we're basically at the hour, so I'm going to call it at the end of the meeting. I appreciate those that were able to make it today. I appreciate your time. And next week we have Alex. What is his name? Alex Yagelnik from Code Production has asked for some time at the Sandpile next week for himself and Adam Broadway to talk about an opportunity. So I'll just tease you with that, and we'll see you next week. Quickly, Daniel asked, what grid system are you all using on the latest templates for BC Gurus? They're using Foundation 6, Daniel. I can give you that answer. You're welcome, Mary. There's no XY grid in the latest BC Gurus templates. It is all Foundation 6, and it is the float style. Again, it's Foundation. You can use Flexbox, but it's not. It's built on the float grid. Now you can use Foundation Builder. You can turn on XY, but the coding itself is not done in XY grid. It's done in medium 6 columns, medium 12 columns, row column, all that stuff. At least until the last one I built, which was only a couple ago. And I do know the prototype that was used for the latest one, and even that is the float grid. So it's just too soon for that platform to go to the XY grid. You think about the re-education that would be needed for the BC Gurus community in order to get up to speed on the XY grid. It's just a bit too soon for that. Was the current thinking on that? Okay. All right. We'll see you next week.